This is JBZ1 and welcome to 1.5 division video. Today I'm showing you guys my 1.5 Nomad PVE build. To make this build work, I stack most of my gear with health, increase kill EXP, and health on kill without losing my minimum damage. So anyways, let's get into it. This is what my build looks like, but actually I have two setups. This right here is for my solo build, and this setup is when I'm in group. So before we start this is the lowest and the highest stats you can get on your main stats. Now let's start with the chest piece. Chest piece armor can get up to 2003 base armor, and you can roll up to 1263 on major attributes. And the max armor you can get is 3266, but try to get at least 3000 armor. Then you might want to have health on kill or health on major attributes. And for my minor attributes, since you're doing a PVE, increase kill EXP is top choice, or ammo capacity, it's really up to you. So now let's move towards my mask. The max base armor you can get from mask is 1001 armor. So having at least 950 plus armor is a very good roll. But if the mask doesn't have a crit chance or health on it, or doesn't have enemy armor damage as minor attributes, and this mask isn't very good at all. Since this is a PVE Nomad build, I would suggest to have EXP kill and have health on kill instead. So now let's move towards my knee pads. Knee pads max armor is 1668, and having at least 1600 armor is a very good roll. For major attributes, always want to roll as armor, which you can get it up to 1263, same number as your chest piece. But even if you have a higher roll armor, and if it's missing an enemy armor damage, I'll consider it a garbage, unless this is your only piece in your gear. And for PVE build, EXP is must have on your knee pads. Moving on to my backpack. Backpack max base armor is 1334, and having 1250 is a very good roll. And again, you always want to have an armor rolled on your backpack. And the highest armor you can get is 959. And with ammo capacity, I'll consider it a god roll, unless you have a low roll on your main stats. Moving on to my glove, the max base armor you can get is 1001 armor, and having 950 plus armor is a very good glove. But armor means nothing if your major attributes on your glove don't have critical hit chance, critical damage, and weapon damage of your choice. Unless if you like using multi-weapon, you can replace your weapon damage into damage to elites, since this build is for PVE. And then the holster. Max base armor is 1001, same as the mask and the glove. You always want to roll as an armor on your major attributes, and you can get it up to 673 armor. But having 1250 plus on your main stats is I considered a god roll. As you can see right there in my holster, I consider this a god roll. So now let's talk about all this gear combination. As you can see, I'm using with specialized backpack, combination of Barrett's bulletproof vest, or with specialized backpack. As you can see, you can go either way. Or you can remove your specialized backpack and change this into a special accomplished knee pads, and that's gonna be on my future build. The reason why I'm using accomplished knee pad is because after combat you'll get this insane amount of EXP. It triples your EXP after you kill them, and while you're out of combat you can see on your bottom right corner that it gives you that amount of EXP. So that's only like 3 times of headshot. So imagine if you have more headshot, you'll get more EXP. That's it will include the kill EXP also. In this build, I'm not going to talk about weapons. It's really up to you what you use as your weapon. But if you want me to suggest what's good for PVE weapon, I suggest you try to get M60 LMG with Destructive, Brutal, and Predatory in 3rd talent. And remember, the more health you have, the better Predatory becomes. Now, let's move towards my skill. As you can see, I'm using a booster shot and tactical pulse. But if you're in a group, I suggest at least one of you guys have pulse and the rest have either support skill or crowd control, such as fire turret, shock turret, or gas seeker, etc. Then moving towards my skill talents, this 4 talent is my favorite setup for this PvE Nomad build. First is the critical save, because it's working properly now, because it gives you like 40% damage reduction after using a medkit when you're down to 1 bar for 10 seconds. And the critical save, of course, it says right there in the description, on the move. Lastly, precision. So precision is actually gives you a pulse buff, which is way better than pulse critical damage when you use a pulse. So now let me give you a demonstrate. Well, this is the end of my 1.5 Nomad build, and hope you find this video useful for your future and present build. More builds to come, and this is JBZ1. This is me saying goodbye.